There we go. Sometimes people record on Zoom, but we're cooler than that. We figured out StreamYard, put a background behind it, and I'm smart enough to upload it on YouTube. No, that doesn't make me that smart. But hey, I'm learning it as we go. We're back again. It's been a while. We've both been incredibly busy transversing the world, recruiting, selling, building, and all those verbs in between. Where in the world are you today, Waylon?
In Dallas right now. Literally after this call, I'm going to Houston and then coming back to Dallas. So, yep, we're in the air.
Now, is Houston to Dallas kind of like Harrisburg to Philly, where you could fly if you wanted to, but you probably should drive, but you could fly? What do you do with Houston to Dallas?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm spoiled at this point in my life, and I'm flying simply for the sake of time. I don't even know how far of a drive it is. I think it's like 3-4 hours, but it's only like an hour flight. So, doing the flight thing today. But absolutely, could I? Is it hard to justify flying? Sure. But am I absolutely going to? Yes.
I got one more question for you because I've done my fair share of flying. You've done 10 times as much. There comes a point in time where you can turn the world off when you're flying and do nothing but watch mindless TV, sleep, or reflect on life, or
Yep.
you can pay $6 and end up back plugged into the world. How often do you choose to be productive, and how often do you choose to unplug?
I wish it was a choice. Unplugging for me is like basically like, hey, do you want to start taking anxiety medication, or do you want to actually get something done? It's not even a choice to me at this point in life. It's just pay the
Yeah.
$6 and pray to God the $6 internet works. Because sometimes it doesn't, and that's even
So,
worse. They take your money and the internet still doesn't work.
yeah, we had family and I went to Puerto Rico on the KSKJ trip 2 weekends ago, and
Mhm.
to take the kids with and take them out of school, they still have to do homework, still have to be a parent, not let them fall behind and get anxiety when they get back into fifth grade. And a lot of my fifth graders' work is done on her Chromebook.
Yep.
So I paid the $6 so she could get on and do it on the 4 hour flight to Puerto Rico. Some of the time it worked, some of the time it didn't.
Yep.
But the fact that the internet might work 20,000 feet in the air, that alone is a small miracle that none of us would ever hope to understand.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll take it. We'll take what we can get.
So today we got two hot topics. No, not this store, but two topics that someone might click on hoping for some good clickbait. The concept of my agent and things we should and shouldn't get angry about in the industry. We've got 17 minutes and 30 seconds to cover it. Stay on for the whole video because you never know when you might hear something that causes you to learn something that makes you more money next week. So, Waylon, the phrase, that's my agent. They stole my agent. My agent in the independent 1099 concept, not LOA, not an employee. What are your thoughts when somebody says online, man, that's my agent?
Yeah, I mean, it's. Let's break down the idea of it first, right? Just to kind of give it a baseline. Anyone saying that, and I've been guilty of it as well. I think I don't really know if I have to be honest, but anyone saying that it's coming from a place of emotion. Typically, it's an emotionally charged statement. That's my agent. No, Chris has a contract with me. He's mine. Um, but it's actually, if you really sit down and think about it, it's kind of funny because let's again, barring the LLAs and those different models that exist, if you're a 1099 broker, there's no one owns you. You're unownable, if you will. You're no one exists to be like your insurance daddy. They're not there to own you. You can't say that's my agent, that's my agency, that's mine, unless you were the one that made it or the one that created it. And again, I've got a lot of downline agents, and none of them I created. They're all their own human beings. So the statement as a whole to me is again, it's an emotional thing, and I understand. I've been there. I've brought over agents from other agencies. I've released agents to other agencies. And it is an emotionally charged thing in the moment, especially. We've both been there. It's like, man, you just want to scream when you're releasing someone. When you're thinking back on the amount of money, time, effort you've invested in that person, it's easy to get charged up. And a comment that comes from that typically is, "Oh, that was my agent. What are you doing?" So that's kind of just the way that I look at it. Is you kind of have to diffuse it, give that person that's saying something like that some time to think through what they're saying and what they mean by that. Because again, when you're a 1099 broker on the broker model, no one is owned by anyone.
I heard once the phrase, and I believe often, that there are emails that you can write and then instantly delete. They were never meant to go to anybody. There are comments you can type on Facebook and then immediately swipe up, so they're never posted. There are things that you'd like to say that probably don't belong in the ethos of other individuals reading them. Agree or disagree?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we've all thought a lot of things. It doesn't necessarily mean that it has to go out into the ether and be consumed by others. The only problem is once it is out there, it's out there. So
Yeah.
that you got to be very, gentle, and not gentle is the wrong word, very careful in what you say and how you speak and how you portray yourself online, because it does matter. It matters more today than it ever has. So.
I mean, I heard an interesting comment from somebody once that I worked with for about 6.5 seconds because of a comment they made. They said to me, and there was some type of hierarchical arrangement for 6 seconds. What are you going to do for me? Well, here's the problem in the independent 1099 self-employed business model. I don't really care what I'm going to do for you. I'd like to work with you, partner together, exchange ideas, motivate each other, teach each other. But what are you going to do for me? It kind of spoke about the concept of you're my agent. What are you going to do for me? Nah, I'm not going to do anything with you. That's it. That was the whole 6 seconds right then and there.
Yeah, I mean, and that's, I've gotten lost in the sauce in that a little bit myself. Because the way I look at it is from an upline perspective, which is the perspective that I use most of the time now, just because of the role that I'm in, is like, I do believe at a certain point, I work for you, the agent. And that's how you retain talent. That's how you build talent. But there is a give and take. I mean, someone coming to you and immediately saying within a week or a couple of days of getting contracted, what do I get from you? And when, an answer to that is like, well, you're at a 110 plus contract with set cost leads and a daily call and a system and et cetera, et cetera. That's what you get. You get the system, you get the unwrapped Christmas gift that, is the system. So follow it. And that's what you get from me. So yeah, I mean, the industry definitely has become, from the agent up, it's become a lot more demanding. A lot more like, I don't want to use the word privilege, but demanding. Like, I have to have this from you. It's like, well, okay, that sounds great, but there's only so much an upline and the brokerage model can do.
Yeah, I think we had the discussion before. There are agents out there, they want everything from you, but they only give you a small portion of their business, time, energy, relationship development. And it's kind of like we had a model maybe 6 to 7 years ago where it was very encapsulated. You were a part of this IMO, that IMO. You did all your business with this place or that place. And over the course of the last 6, 7 years, there's a lot of more polyamory in the business, which exposes the mid-level managers to a lot of risk, where one day you're producing here, the next day you're rolling here. And then it creates a lot of difficulty for the high-level agencies, where they're pouring resources and time and cash into lead flow, only getting a little return for it in override. So hopefully over the course of time, we find some sort of happy medium again, where agents get what they want, uplines get what they need, and the relationship can grow and foster each other better than maybe the polyamorous setup that many people are in right now.
Yeah, and I think there's several reasons for it, right? That have arisen over the past 24 months specifically, that have led to that. A couple, in my opinion, are, one, the flashy contract levels, whether they're correct or honest or not. Flashing them and catching someone's interest at the agent level is pretty easy nowadays. Secondly, is the marketing side of the business has become much muddier, much more expensive, much more difficult. There's only a select handful of groups that I would say, without a shadow of a doubt, still hold integrity and have a quality system in place for their downline agents. And that's just the truth. There's a lot of groups out there that have systems, but I wouldn't say they hold much integrity or hold much weight. And the third thing, outside of levels and integrity with their lead systems, is, social media. The beast that is social media has led everybody to think that anything is possible and the world is theirs and the world is their oyster in insurance their first day in the business. And that's kind of created some fun conversations with new people, and made the business significantly different than it really ever has been.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's also, I want to double down on what you said a moment ago. What, it isn't just my agent, your agent, but also what are we doing for them? I think you have to constantly be providing value, training, resources, getting feedback, being on the cutting edge without muddying the waters. So there is a cohesive relationship. But the thing with relationships, and I guess this is the takeaway before we transition into the second topic, is relationships take time and effort, have ups and downs. And if every time you get butt hurt, you ask for a release, you're never going to get massive growth in your personal business or your agency.
Absolutely. I mean, look, I'll just be candid with everybody on our call. Chris and I, things started great for like a year and a half. We had a bumpy bunch of issues and stuff. We resolved them, and now the trajectory is upward again. Things are never perfect. I can tell you that without a shadow of a doubt. Like, we've talked about this on previous calls. There's going to be issues. I promise. I don't care if you work with like the next coming of Christ in insurance. Nobody's perfect. Everybody screws up. And if you're not willing to work with that person and have the hard conversations, that's a big part of it too. People don't want to have confrontation or have hard conversations anymore. And if you're not willing to do that, it's really hard to resolve any true issues. If you just want to jump to the next easy way out every time, good luck really building anything that's very lasting. Because we've talked about this in previous calls. Moving hierarchies is a pain in the butt when you've got any kind of distribution at all. It stinks.
Mm-hmm. So that transitions perfectly into our next conversation about positive and negative anger. I did a training this week about this topic. That's why I wanted to bring it to YouTube. I think a lot of times we get angry about things we have almost no control over. And there are things we can be angry about that we have direct control over. But anger also can spill into not just a fight or flight emotion, but a default emotional set. And angry people are not fun people to be around. Angry people are negative people. Anger and negativity spreads worse than cancer. What are your thoughts about positive things that I should be angry about, that I have direct control over, and being angry about something I can't do a damn thing about?
Yeah, I mean, anger is a strong emotion. It can consume everything, and it really can completely halt any and all progress if you're angry about the wrong things, right? Being angry about something that you literally have zero control over, that whatever you do this way or that way isn't going to alter that at all. It just is what it is. Truly, it is what it is. All that does is waste time, halt progress. I mean, we've all been angry. Like, being actually angry and mad, I don't have any cool statistics on it, but I know it takes me a while to cool off. And that cool off period, I don't want to say I'm useless, but I kind of feel useless. Like, I don't get anything done. I don't think straight. I can't make any high level decisions on anything that I need to be doing. It's just not a good time to conduct any style of business. So figuring out a way to understand that, hey, I can't control this, but what can I control? So to flip it on the other side, Chris, anger on a sense of what I can't control is obviously terrible. So when you do feel that come on, start thinking of the things that, like, hey, I can be angry about this, because guess what I do here directly affects that. So, like, let's say weeds didn't go out on Friday, and you can't control that at all. Getting mad about it does nothing for you but make you mad. You just get mad. Well, then you should take that energy from that, point that towards, well, I've got 6 months worth of inventory that I've sat on. I might have 100 leads that I have not been able to see or disposition. Route those out for the weekend and go door knock. It's where you target the energy at the end of the day is what's going to matter, because that's something you can control at the agent level. And then so I'll give you a quick example on the agency side. Fun politics side of the business, just to give people an insight into that side. So you get a phone call, there's an exclusive product. They say, hey, we really, we want you to be the face of it. We want you to run it. We want you to, help with distribution, et cetera. Gets you excited naturally as a person who loves the industry, me. Say, cool, I'll do it. I'd love to do it. Let me know what you need. I'll get it over to you in a timely manner. Provide everything they need. It still looks good. Everything looks great. And then boom, wake up the next day and I got blocked and I don't know by who. Some person somewhere in the ether, insurance Zeus blocked me. Lightning bolt, boom, out. So guess what? I could have been pissed off. Like, you know what? Screw this shit. I'm out. Screw it. Guess what? It doesn't matter. If I'd have got mad, it wouldn't have helped anybody. It just keep pushing forward, keep trucking. Like, I'm 27, not 67. Give me 40 years. I'll have that product. It doesn't matter. I'm not going anywhere. So it's just about where you point that anger at.
I agree. I wrote down a couple things in that training that I get personally angry about. And I think somebody that watches this probably could relate to it. Maybe they can't, but it's a moment of honesty. Maybe, hopefully that helps somebody. I oftentimes get angry when leads are short. It's not my fault. Yep. I don't fill out the lead. I don't mail the lead. I don't pick up the lead. I don't deposit into a CRM. I don't distribute it. I can't afford to manage that level of stuff up here anyway. I can't get angry about it. It's not I have no control over it. I get angry when I have a really great recruiting conversation. I'm like, heck yeah, this guy's going to do it. He actually fills out the contracting within 48 years. He submits a lead order. He actually has a credit card, a vehicle, and the card clears. Then I never hear from him again. That angers me, but not my fault. I can't physically dress the person, put them in front of their leads, and send them out to see old people. Not my fault. Exactly. I get angry when I communicate with somebody in a respectful business sense and they ghost me like it's some kind of a Tinder date. And then they pop back up a month later asking a question that a tool could answer for them. Mm-hmm. Honestly, that's kind of disrespectful, and I'm sure they're going to be offended if they bother to watch this video. I don't care. I think relationships, communications matter, and I think at a certain point you need to use the tools around you to answer certain basic level questions. Sure. And if I ever ask a basic level question, Waylon, I say, I'm apologizing for the fact that I have a tool to answer this, but I'm panicked right now. Just give me the answer. Yeah. I recognize there's a tool to answer my question. I just haven't utilized it. Sure. I get angry over no shows or low appointment counts. Now, I could set my own appointments, but I can't get angry at the fact that I have a low appointment count if I'm not setting the appointments, and I can't make somebody be home for an appointment. So why am I angry about that? Yep. And I get angry when I have a limited amount of time to do something, but I can choose to be more productive with the time that I have. And when I'm purposeful and productive, I can get more done than most people in 3 hours than some do with 8. So those are things I get angry about. And I think it's appropriate to be angry about things you can control, how hard you're working, how engaged you are, trying to get better at your job, things like that. But do you find yourself, or at least in all the agents that you talk to, any similarities or commonalities in the things they get angry about?
Yeah, I mean, it's overlap, like I try to, it's like study groups, or like, in a clinical study, they have different focus groups, right? I try to keep all of my opinions based off the focus groups of people that are doing successfully in the business, like are buying leads, going to work, etc. It's all the same pain points. It's like, my upline didn't give me my damn leads this week, or which I'm a direct correlation of that sometimes. Most of the time we're good. The 1 week where it doesn't go good, believe me, everybody knows. Or contracting's taking forever, or commissions aren't advancing. Damn it. I wrote business and I got as earned. I'm going to blow this company up. Like, dude, it's always the same. It's usually minute things that are little errors that frustrate the people that are like the consistent, streamlined people. When things aren't, when there's a little bump in the road, that's when they can get a little bit, squirrely. But the people that are consistent, usually consistency kind of cures all those ailments in our business. It's funny how that is. The people that are inconsistent and up and down are the ones that are here, and it's just all the time. And it's like, man, like, you got a lot of questions about a lot of things that but there's a reason for that. You don't have as many questions when you do something typically. So, yeah, I mean, it's always the same little contractual things or leads things, or just misunderstandings, things like that.
Do you have any control over the administrative staff at a carrier that pushes buttons to make things happen?
I wish we did, but no. Unless people have to give carriers a little bit of, just a little bit more slack. I mean, I get it. Like, we want it now. We got to have it. But man, they've got, sometimes thousands of contracts coming in the door. I mean, think about it. Changes take time. New agents take time. And realistically speaking, like, a change in a hierarchy doesn't make that carrier any more or less money.
No.
At all. Like, you moving from FMOA to FMOB makes them no extra money, because the top level is the top level, regardless of where that business is written. So you got to give them a little bit more grace. Like, these people, they do work pretty hard, but they're hourly employees, and you can't lose sight of that.
Yeah, I mean, someone's getting paid $25 an hour to do this 8 hours straight a day. It's not affecting their pay one way or the other, and being disrespectful to them is only going to make them do this slower and forget that they're supposed to do this for your thing too. It's tough for me. I learned that on a regular basis, and I've seen the good and the bad that comes with it. So on that note, it's okay to be angry about things you can control. It doesn't do you any good to be angry about things you can't control. And ask yourself, how big of a problem is this really? Is this a mountain? Is this a molehill? How am I going to feel about this in 5 weeks, 5 months, 5 years? Give yourself a little perspective, and then take a nap. I don't know. Like, sometimes there's just nothing you can do about it, and it'll be fine tomorrow. Yep. Waylon, I appreciate you giving us a few minutes you had today to talk about the concept of my agents, your anger, my anger, and all the things in between. Like, comment, and subscribe as I push a cat off the desk, and we'll see everybody back for the next episode. Take care.
Thanks, guys.